Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here on 10 TV News this morning. I'm Tracy Townsend.
And I'm Colin Dorsey. Jay has the morning off. Well, of course, the winter storm hitting our area hard this morning, forcing a lot of cancellations and closings, including Columbus City Schools. I also just saw come into the email, the city of Whitehall. Their offices are closed as well. Well, a lot of you waking up to heavy snow, slick roads, and winter weather warnings all in effect.
We have team coverage for you this morning. It's all aimed at keeping you safe, keeping you informed. Our crews are all through central Ohio, and that includes Delaware County, Fairfield counties.
And we're also live in Columbus and out on the roads with the latest updates and conditions for your commute. But first, we want to get over to meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with the latest on what we're seeing today.
Colin and Tracy, good morning. Yeah, talk about a winter wonderland out there. Keep in mind, there are plenty of school closings and delays, so make sure to check in before you hit the roads. Everybody should stay home and off the roads today, though, if you can, because we are looking at a lot of snow out there. Additional snowfall about 2 to 3 inches. The snow should be ending by about 1 to 3 this afternoon. Up until then, fair game to get some snow showers. And look at that, winds 30 miles per hour. Oh, we're going to be looking at some pretty bad drifting and blowing snow. Additional snow down to the south, a decent amount expected, maybe 3 to 5 inches, and then lower amounts as we head north of town in Columbus. So we're going about 2 to maybe 3 inches of additional snow. Not a whole lot shaking out here right now because we've got that dry air building into the area. However, take a look at this right now, down towards Pickerington, Lockburn, Groveport. We are getting some pretty heavy snow bands in there as well. Temperatures, wow, it feels cold out there. Marion right now feels like only 6. Mount Vernon, good morning to you, feels like only 5 out there. It's going to get worse because look at these winds by the afternoon, 1 o'clock, feeling winds gusting up to 30 miles per hour. It's going to be pretty bad out there as we head into the afternoon. So lots of blowing snow and reduced visibilities. Let's take a look right now at your time saver traffic. Amy's in for that.
Good morning. This time right now is 7:02, and if you're just joining us here this morning, roads definitely a lot slower than they normally are. Normally this map right here is completely green. We're not seeing a ton of green this morning, a lot of orange, yellow, even red in certain sections. So that means things are very slow moving. We do have a situation. Crews are working to clear up. They appear to be clearing it out right now, but 670 eastbound, just watch for some slowdowns as you're pushing into that 71-670 split. We've got multiple lanes. They were blocked off, and you can see 42 miles an hour over there in those eastbound lanes, just to give you a perspective of how slow we're moving. Bottom right shows you where that's at. You can see those bridges and overpasses also on many of our cameras. Still looking very snowy this morning. Take it slow if you are heading out. I'm going to send things back to you, Tracy.
All right. Thank you so much, Amy. Pickaway County is under a level 3 snow emergency right now. And in fact, our team started covering the snow as it moved in last night. While we were there, we talked with some of the people who were out experiencing the conditions.
It's wonderful. I'm very happy it's finally snowing. We're going to get a good amount, hopefully. So I'm excited.
I hate the snow and it's really cold, but it's pretty, so.
And right here in the capital city, well, this is the scene we saw last night. It was taken in Columbus near the Grandview Heights city line. 10 TV Chief Meteorologist Jerry Marks checked in there just after midnight. Well, about that point, they'd already seen about 2.5 inches of snow in Columbus, and well, that continues to rise this morning. And one of the most hard-hit counties in the region, that's Fairfield County. That county currently under a level 3 snow emergency. Meteorologist Meredith Garfalo's live for us there in Fairfield County in Lancaster. Meredith, you've been out there all morning long. Have you seen conditions change?
I have to laugh because it just is funny how Mother Nature sometimes ramps things up as we move forward in time. One thing I do want to mention about that level 3 snow emergency, we are seeing a lot less car action on the roads. So it's good. That means people are staying home. And remember, with a level 3 snow emergency for Fairfield County, only emergency personnel can be out on the road. So I've got some weather tools because I figure, why not? Let's see what's going on out here. So this is an anemometer. It's going to let us know how much the winds are blowing. We've been seeing wind gusts anywhere between 5 to 15 miles per hour, even getting up to 20 at times. Right now we have a sustained, or we're holding a wind between 5 to 10 miles per hour. But I also have the handy dandy ruler. We've measured at the top of the hour how much snow that we've seen here in Lancaster. So let's get the official reading now. It looks like we are just about 3.5 in this area. Actually, no, about 4 here. About 4 here as well. Of course, just coming down the ruler here for us, but about 4 inches of snow here in Lancaster. We're keeping an eye on things, but remember, don't go out. It's not safe out there. We've seen people sliding around on the roads. It's cold, it's miserable, but you know what? We're going to be here for you all morning. Reporting in Lancaster, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo for 10 TV.
All right, thank you so much. Let's take a look at the snow emergencies that are playing out across the state. Almost all of them, as you can see behind us, are really in the southern part of our viewing area. They're under some sort of snow emergencies. Multiple counties are under level 3. And again, that means just go out if you are an emergency responder. If you're not, you should be at home. And that includes Pickaway, Ross, Hocking, and Athens counties. And a level 3 snow emergency means that you need to be off of the roads.
Right. That is just the only folks that should be out there, your police, fire, your medics, the only people that need to be out there right now. And also in Columbus, the cities, they call them snow warriors, are out trying to clear those streets to make it safe just to get to work. But if you live on those side streets, it could be a bit.
Yes, so enjoy your day in the house. 10 TV News reporter Kiara Lake is in Columbus with more on that this morning because you're not going anywhere right away.
Exactly. You guys enjoy your time inside because we'll be outside making sure you stay safe. And you should know that Columbus, they are working 24/7 to clear these roadways. I can show you High Street right now. They've been working basically since last night to clear these areas for you. But just so you know, even though they've been working hard, you still can't see the lines on the road. So you just have to be careful. And then when it comes to these side streets, like you mentioned there, Colin and Tracy, when it comes to Orchard Lane, these types of areas, as you can see, these haven't been touched yet with the snow plows because these aren't priority. And now the city has 4,600 miles of roadways based on priority, and priority 1 areas include freeways and busy roads. And then there's priority 2, which are busy residential roadways with more traffic, and priority 3 are the remaining local and residential roads that are not as busy. But still, employees from main cities, they say that they just want you to be extra careful out there, and also that they have some extra help with volunteers who are working now these plows to get through these residential areas as quickly as possible.
Historically, we would do all the priority 1s, clear them, go to the priority 2s, and then we would go to the priority 3s. So that's why everyone would be like, why is it taking so long to get to my neighborhood street? With the auxiliary staff, it's allowing us to get to those neighborhood streets so much faster.
And really, you can't tell right now, but this is sidewalk in this area. And I just want to show you how much snow is here. So if you have to get out and plow, it looks like it's a little over 3 inches in some areas. But the city says if you can help out, that'll be a lot of help to clear the sidewalks and also park off the street. Because like I just said, these plows want to get out of here. And if you're wondering where the snow plows are at and when they will be clearing your roadway, they need your help to do so. Reporting live from Clintonville, Kiara Lake, 10 TV News.
Thank you for that. Here are some other reminders in case you do have to go out today. You want to give yourself extra time to get wherever you need to go. AAA recommends that you dress as if you're going to be stranded. They also remind you to open your garage door before you start your car. Another reminder is to make sure that your clearing tools, your shovel, your scraper, all of those things are in the garage or right by the door in your house. You don't have to go to the backyard, for example, to get them. And AAA says that you should also back into parking spaces. It could make it easier for you when you get to leave. Finally, you're going to see people with their windshield wipers standing up on their windshield today. That's so that they will be working when you're ready to go. Colin?
Yeah, nobody likes frozen windshield.
No.
Well, if you are instead flying today, well, you might want to check with your airline because some of those flights might not be happening. I've been watching the flight board out of John Glenn Columbus International Airport all day long this morning, and things are better than they were this morning. When I first started looking at this around 4:30, there were about a dozen canceled flights between that time and 9. Those were earlier in the morning, but we're starting to see a little bit better. More flights being on time. The next one canceled is going to be Southwest to Nashville at 7:20, Delta into LaGuardia in New York City, 7:35. But then a lot of our flights back on time. The next one then a little later this morning into Chicago. And those are kind of the same things that we're also going to see around the state. Dayton, flights getting in and out fairly on time. Cleveland, the same way. But if you have to get northern Kentucky, if you're flying out of Cincinnati today, not good news. A lot of those flights have been canceled. They've seen a lot of snow just in the past 24 hours. But if you're headed to the airport to pick someone up, that's better. A lot of those flights are arriving on time, maybe just delayed a few more minutes. So if you are headed to pick up a family member, a loved one, or a friend, just make sure you check with the airline because it could be a little later than it should be. Tracy?
All right, thank you so much, Dylan. Colin. Colin is Colin, Dylan is Dylan, and Dylan is here. We
look similar. So.
both two of my favorite people. See how I smooth that over? All right, this forecast. Look at the
And look at some of these totals out there, Tracy. Look at Centerville. You're heading west on I-70 out towards places like Dayton. They've had 8.5 inches of snowfall. Look at Hilliard, 5.1 inches so far. Downtown Columbus, 4.9. The forecast was about 3 to 6. We are kind of nudged right in there. And then off towards Wilmington, they had 5.5 inches so far. So here's the deal. We're not done with this quite yet. We're still tracking more snow up there to the north. You can see for Bucyrus, Marion, Caledonian, some heavy snowfall up here right now. But then we have a lot of these dry slots that we're tracking out here as well. Also right now out towards Blue Rock and out towards Roseville, Somerset, tracking some pretty good snowfall just to the south of Zanesville right now. And then as we go off to the west, here's round 2, okay? So right now, not a whole lot is going on out there, but look at round 2 right here. Take at some of these very heavy bands right there near Bloomington, Indiana. That's going to be our problem within the next 2 to 3 hours or so. And I'll walk you through exactly what that looks like coming up in about a minute on our hour-by-hour forecast. Quickly, though, road conditions out there. Look, stay off the roads if you can, because with the roads being below freezing, we're going to be looking at a lot of snow-covered roads out there. Same thing off to the east. And in fact, some of these roads aren't monitored as well. We're down to about 21, 22 degrees, so it gets a lot colder out there. Then as we head west of town, look at that, 20 degrees, 22 degrees. The good news, though, we're kind of still in the sweet spot, okay? We're still in that spot where rock salt will work. At about 20 degrees, which is what the outside temperature is, road salt is very effective. Look at this. Once you get down to 10 degrees, it's barely effective, and it's not effective at all once you get down to 0. So we are pretty fortunate that once ODOT can get out there and put down that road salt, it should actually do a pretty good job. So the snow's out of here by about 1 to 3 o'clock this afternoon, an additional couple of inches in the metro, and then I'm really concerned about some very strong winds this afternoon, blowing snow, drifting snow. So even though we're only looking at a few inches, you might get a snow drift upwards of a foot. Additional snowfall going to be pretty heavy down towards Chillicothe, Logan, and Lancaster, and then dropping off quite significantly the further to the north that you go. Let's walk you through what will be happening for the rest of the day. We still have that winter storm warning in effect. It was recently decided to upgrade Columbus. We had an advisory. Now we have that warning, so that means to stay off the roads if you can. Here's your storm system right now. Low pressure, again, you got a counterclockwise spin, so that's going to pull in some of that snow and some of that moisture out towards Indiana and Illinois. And that's going to push it off towards the Midwest, and that will be with us here going into the afternoon. Let's walk you through exactly how this is going to play out. So I said we're in a lull right now, and then we got round number 2 coming on in. Here's 10:30 this morning from Newark, Lancaster, Circleville, Washington Courthouse. Look at the dark blue on the map here. Okay, that's where you're going to be looking at some heavy snowfall. This is why we're thinking a few more inches down to the south, because they're going to be looking at snow till about 2, 3 o'clock this afternoon. By 4:30, it's done snowing in Logan, and then by 5 o'clock, it'll be done snowing down there in MacArthur as eventually things improve and wind down. So snowfall chances for today by 2 o'clock start dropping off the deep end, and then hardly any snow this afternoon, but it's going to be downright cold. It's going to feel like the tundra late this week. Look at this, 8 degrees here on Thursday morning, daytime highs, not even making it to 20. This would actually be our coldest day of the winter so far, if that does verify. And then heading into Saturday and Sunday, tracking a few snow flurries, maybe a few snow showers. But after today, we're not looking at any major storms anytime soon. Amy Steigerwald has a quick update on your time saver traffic.
We are definitely starting to see things get a little dicey out there as more folks hit the road here at 7:15. That is your time check. A crash on I-70 westbound just past that 70-71 split has the right lane blocked off. Again, that's going westbound. Also on the north side of town, 270 westbound just past that 270-315 split. Right lane blocked over there as well. So a lot of those interchanges we're seeing those problems at. Let's take a look at our Big 4 major highway cameras. You can see where we've got those crews pushed off over there on the north side of town, and then also here on I-70 right as you meet 71. Take it slow this morning as we are seeing things pick up. The road's getting a little more clear, but again, still definitely a slow commute for you this morning. I'm going to send things to you, Colin.
All right, Amy, thanks. And of course, Dylan mentioned blowing snow. That really makes some travel difficult on those rural back roads. And now we want to check in Delaware County. And we just talked with the Delaware County Sheriff not too long ago. And, really that county saw a gradient. So it really depended where you're at. If you're on the north end, might not have been as deep or severe as you might be if you lived in Galena. But Delaware County right now is at a level 1 snow emergency. That means roadways, they're hazardous. They might have some ice and blowing and drifting snow, so be sure to drive carefully. 10 TV's Kristen McFarland, she's been out there for us all morning long. She's in Lewis Center. Kristen, have things changed? Are the roads getting any better?
Yeah, Colin, that's right. We've seen in the last 30 minutes, 45 minutes, a stop in that consistent snowfall right now, and it's made the conditions a little bit better. I want to show you, though, plow trucks have been getting those back roads and those parking lots here. You can just see this amount of snow here that's piled up. Just not even an hour ago, you can see the plow truck right over here. He's gone through and tried to make this parking lot a little bit better, but again, it's still icy out there. Those main roads still have a lot of slush on there. I'm seeing some people slow down. Some people are still driving pretty fast right now. Again, if you don't need to leave your house, if you can stay safe and stay inside, do so. Colin, Tracy.
All right, Kristen, thanks. And we've also got crews out all across central Ohio trying to keep you updated on what those current road conditions are.
10 TV News reporter Tara Jabor is among them. She's been out on the road since before 4:30 this morning. Tara, give us an idea of what things are like in those southern counties.
Well, Tracy, right now we're on 23 North in Pickaway County, and the roads have definitely gotten better, but they are not great. And we noticed that one lane here is still completely snow covered to the left, while to the right, this lane is clear. Now, we haven't seen a lot of cars out on the roads this morning, which is definitely a good thing. We do know that Pickaway and Ross County are still under that level 3 snow emergency. So the sheriff's office from Pickaway County did post on Facebook encouraging all non-emergency personnel to stay home. They say to only go out if you have an emergency. Now, we also, of course, have seen some ODOT trucks out here trying to really just clear off these roads. We've seen a few of them here just in the last hour as the sun continues to come up and things get a little bit brighter out here. Now, if you see one of those ODOT trucks, make sure you move over, give them room to work, give them room to clear off these roads so that people who do need to get around today, those emergency personnel, can get around. Now, we'll of course be out here and keep you updated on these road conditions here in Pickaway and Ross County. But for now, reporting live in Pickaway County, Tara Jabor, 10 TV News.
All right, thank you so much, Tara. We're going to head north and go to Delaware County this morning. Delaware County Sheriff Jeff Balzer back with us. Thank you so much for joining us again, Sheriff Balzer.
You bet. We're about the same up here in Delaware County, although we're getting a little better handle on the roads. It slowed down the snow up in Delaware County, and my understanding is that the more vehicles that have been traveling on the roads have actually helped the ice work some more. So I'm hoping that maybe within the next few hours the roads will be much better.
And when it comes to planning for events like these, do you have extra deputies that you call in and get on the roads to make sure they can respond to any accidents that happen?
We do. We actually pay attention to the weather forecast and schedule appropriately. And one of the things that I was going to suggest to folks, two things. Make sure and leave early and have patience. You may be quite confident in your driving skills with your four-wheel drive vehicle, but the person in front of you may not be. So just be patient as you drive around the county today.
You know, that's really interesting advice, because in talking to Olentangy local schools, their operations chief was saying there is a big concern for young drivers. That goes into when they decide that they're going to cancel school. So can you give us just an idea from your vantage point, you know, the parts of your county that are more rural versus those that are more suburban?
Well, you're exactly right. The younger or inexperienced drivers are having more difficulty, especially for the first big snowfall of the year. We expect that as they go through the season, they'll get better. But especially this first time, we need everybody to take their time when they're driving.
Yeah, and you know, people are always asking, when is my road going to get plowed? Of course, you handle many of the back roads of Delaware County, and those take some time, right? Is it just a matter of just be patient?
That's right. We've got a really good crew up here, both with ODOT and our county engineer and the township trustees clearing the roads. But you got to expect we're going to work on the main roads first, and then they'll get to your residential areas afterwards. And just be aware that there will be some drifting this afternoon, too, as we go on.
And it's important, those townships. I heard them plowing this morning at 1:30 near me, but by 2:30 when I was leaving to come in here, Sheriff, it was already snow covered there on Worthington Road.
And it's a round-the-clock job for those guys and gals out there in the plows.
It is. It really is. So before we let you go, Sheriff, any last words of encouragement or warning for folks who might be coming through Delaware County?
Patience. Delaware County, we're ready to go. We've got our folks out there working hard. But just be patient, and we'll all get through this.
All right. Thank you so much, Sheriff Jeff Balzer in Delaware County. We appreciate you joining us. We know lots going on today. Now, we have been covering the school closings that are coming into our 10TV newsroom. You can get those updated for you at 10tv.com. We do want to just point out many of the larger school districts, including the largest in the state, Columbus City Schools, are closed today. It's important to remember that the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce requires districts and schools to run on hour-based, not day-based schedules. And this means there are no longer those so-called calamity days in Ohio schools. Instead, schools schedule excess hours above the minimum number of required hours to accommodate weather-related situations that delay or cancel school. I did talk with the operations chief out in the Olentangy Local Schools District, and again, that's one of the larger districts that's closed today. And Jeff Gordon told me that they really try to make the call by 5 or 5:15 in the morning.
Both our transportation director and our superintendent, while we're out on the roads, they're communicating with other districts and talking about, okay, what are you seeing? What's going on in your part of the county or your part of the city. So it's really a lot of factors go into making that decision.
And talk about mutual aid. Olentangy Schools connects with the surrounding districts directly surrounding it. Worthington, Buckeye Valley, Big Walnut, Delaware City, everybody trying to make sure that they're keeping families safe. Now, within the past half hour or so, we had been talking about the school closures. We're continuing to do that. Columbus City Schools is closed. All classes, after school activities are canceled. Here are some other closures on your screen, just in case you want to stay updated. Columbus City Schools, Lancaster City Schools, and Canal Winchester City Schools all closed this morning. Those bigger school districts making that call a couple of hours ago. Coshocton City Schools are on a 2-hour delay. Columbus State Community College is going to have remote learning today. This list is expansive, and you can get to our website, 10tv.com, to get the latest.
Right, we're going to take a quick break right now, but you can head over to 10TV for an update right now. This version of the streaming 10TV News This Morning. We'll be back at 7:30.
On your Monday, I'm Amy Stuggerwald. Thanks so much for staying with us here on 10 TV. We do have a weather impact day, a lot of traffic headaches this morning. Take a look at your Big 4 major highway cameras right there. Things looking a little better than they were probably about 15 minutes ago, but still watching some issues. You can see there on I-70, bottom left-hand camera. That's in those westbound lanes right at Mountain Street. And then on the north side of town, I-270 right at 315. Also watching an issue, crews working to clear up over there. Everything moving along generally okay. We aren't seeing as much traffic this morning just because a lot of folks obviously staying home, which isn't the worst idea. If you are having to head out this morning, take it slow and give yourself extra time. I'm going to send things to you, Dylan, for a look at the forecast.
And we are starting to get some of these snow totals out here. And take a look at this. Hilliard now coming in over 5 inches. Downtown Columbus right on the edge of 5 inches. And then as we head off towards Delaware County, a little bit less up there for you guys. We're in a lull in the activity, but we're not done with it quite yet. You'll see that we do have some snow up towards Bucyrus, up towards Marion, Richwood as well. And then as we head off to the west, this is heading in our direction. It should be arriving within the next couple of hours or so. Now, as we go ahead and take a look at the rest of the day, snow is out by about 3 o'clock this afternoon. An additional 2 to 3 inches is possible in the metro. And then those gusty winds will lead to some blowing and drifting snow as well. An additional 3 to 4, maybe pocket of 5 inches as we head further down to the south. 7-day forecast shows that we are going to be looking at snow showers Friday and Saturday. And then, man, take a look at that right there. Bone chilling cold late week, single digits here on Thursday morning. Wind chills could be below 0.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here on 10 TV News this morning. We're right at 7:30. I'm Tracy Townsend.
And I'm Colin Dorsey. Jay has the morning off. Well, if you've looked out the window, you know it. The winter storm hitting the area hard this morning. It's forced a lot of cancellations and closings. That includes Columbus City Schools, Hilliard, Lancaster City Schools. A lot of them out today. We do have live team coverage for you all morning. To help keep you safe out there, our crews are stationed throughout Central Ohio, including in Columbus, Lewis Center in Delaware County, Lancaster, and Fairfield County, and also just out on the roads. But first, we want want to go over to meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with the latest on what we're seeing.
Waking up to a snow day out there indeed. Right now, 21 degrees is the current temperature, but factor in that wind, feels like only 8 degrees out there. Take a look at what it feels like elsewhere. Mount Vernon feels like only 5 degrees. Bundle up out there because it's going to be downright chilly as we head into the afternoon. The reason why, these strong winds. Take a look at how strong they're going to be. The reds on the map. We're looking at winds 30, 35 miles per hour. This is at 2 o'clock this afternoon. So now we got 6 inches of fluffy snow. You're going to be throwing in a wild card of winds up to 30 miles per hour. That's going to be blowing and drifting and going every which way today. Right now on the radar, we are finding ourselves in what I would call a dry slot. You can see that dry slot right there, but we have more snow from the north that's going to be moving into the region here. And you can see up towards Marysville, we're going to be looking at some of that snow moving in as well. So that's moving from Delaware out to Marysville. Down towards Pleasantville and Lancaster, we have some light snow as well. And then here at home, not too bad, but Bucyrus and Mount Gilead, all these areas right now are getting it pretty heavily right now. So this will continue till about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then it's just cloudy and cold as we head into the afternoon. Temperature is staying below freezing. The real chill will come in late this week. We'll talk about that in just a bit. Amy's got a quick check-in on your time saver traffic.
Good morning here at 7:32. If you're just joining us, you're waking up to a lot of snow, and here's what your roadways look like. You can see we've got they've got a decent handle on them, I should say. We have been watching those plows work very hard this morning. Make sure you're giving them the room they need. Couple busy spots, I-270 right at 315 north side of town. We were seeing an issue there that has cleared out. At that 104-33 split on 104 westbound, we are seeing a crash right near Alum Creek Drive. Can't quite see it on that camera, but take it slow if you're heading in that direction this morning. If any major impacts pop up, we'll let you know. I'm going to send things back to you.
All right, Amy, thank you. Pickaway County is under a level 3 snow emergency right now. And of course, we're continuing our coverage of Central Ohio and that county in particular. We were out in Circleville last night. The snow was falling. Many people were excited to see it. Others had some different views on the conditions.
It's wonderful. I'm very happy it's finally snowing. We're going to get a good amount, hopefully. So I'm excited.
I hate the snow and it's really cold, but it's pretty, so.
Yeah, I don't know about you. I like the snow.
I like the snow
it's
too.
It's pretty. You know, once it
we're
sits
inside.
for a couple days, then it can go away. Yeah, it's nice to be inside and look at it. But all right, well, back here in Columbus, this is what you could see last night. This was near the Grandview Heights city line. 10 TV Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz checked just after midnight. At that point, got about 2.5 inches of snow, and how that has changed, Dylan tells me it's about 4.9 inches in some parts of Columbus, so it's piling up.
Yes, it is. It's still pretty.
Yeah, right. It's nice to look at. All right. And right now in Columbus, the city's snow warriors are out clearing the streets, but if you live on some of those side streets, could be a bit before your street gets plowed.
10 TV News reporter Kiara Lake is in Clintonville this morning, and you've got a really nice way to show us the difference between a main thoroughfare and a side street.
Yeah, that's right. And I agree with you guys. I like the snow as well, but when you've been out here since 4 a.m., you start to think a little differently about it. But I do have a glimmer of hope to show you here in Clementville. I've been off High Street this entire time, and as you can see, I'm starting to see pavement, but it's still pretty slushy out here. Some spots not as clear, so just be careful if you have to be out on these roads because it is hard to see the lines in some areas. Now, the city says their team of snow warriors, like you just mentioned, are fully staffed, and we're told they have plenty of salt and other supplies to treat these roads. So the city's top priority right now is to clear roads like this that have a lot of traffic and a lot of freeways and roadways. And on top of that, though, the city has a new auxiliary program. So I want to tell you too as well, these side streets, just take a look at that. They're still working to clear some of these areas because they're not as like a top priority, like I mentioned. And employees from many city departments volunteered to be trained to use pickup trucks with plows, and they will be working to help clear these residential neighborhoods and these residential side streets like this. But just keep in mind, it may be a little slower because the city has 4,600 miles of roads to clear with 55 dump truck plows.
The other big change we made since last year is nearly tripled the number of contractors that are working with us so that we can get from, some of the main streets around town, those major thoroughfares, into residential areas, because that is so much of our goal to do this, is to get into neighborhoods faster.
And also, even though the High Street's looking clear, these side roads, not so much. And surprisingly, what you can't see is that this is a sidewalk. So when you can, the city is recommending that you help them clear these sidewalks. Also, take your cars off of the road so they can get through here and plow as much of those roads and clear them and make sure they're as safe for you as possible. Reporting live from Clintonville, Kiera Lake, 10 TV News.
All right, Kiera, thank you. And on the heels of that report, we have Columbus City Council President Shannon Hardin, and I saw you nodding your head during Kiera's report.
Those are all the talking points that we're trying to get out to our residents. I know here at 10 TV we call it a Climate Impact Day. I call it a Snow Warrior Appreciation Day because our folks have been out for the last 24 hours and more, making sure that we can get to and from safely. And I live on the east side of Columbus, and this probably would have been a 15-minute drive to the station. It took about 45 minutes, and so we took it slow, but we got here and we saw the trucks out there. And what we always remind folks is, don't crowd the plow. Give them space. Their periphery might not be what we would have in our car because they have the different mechanisms that they're out pushing the streets. But we are going to get to everyone, but it will take some time.
Well, we heard the number 4,600 miles. Can you talk about just the variations in the terrain in the city? Because we usually think downtown, but there are so many other places where it can get a little interesting.
For sure, for sure. And our auxiliary roads or our top priorities can change. So if there's an extra hilly area, it could be higher up on our priority list. If there is a job center where we know that folks have to get into and out of, that can be a priority center. So we are using our big plow trucks to get to our arterial streets, our main arteries. But then, as the mayor talked about and folks talked about, we have a cross-training program where we have staff coming from different departments driving smaller trucks that will be able to get into side streets quicker, as well as a new program where we're contracting with many hundreds of folks that will go out and help us get to those side streets to make sure that you can get from your driveway to the main streets to your wherever you have to go today. And at this point, we're still at if you have to get somewhere. The best thing that we would ask folks in Columbus is give us a little bit more time to get the streets plowed, and so you can get around safely this afternoon.
Can you talk a little bit more about the auxiliary, the people who are cross-training? That seems, you know, I would hate for Channel 10 to ask me to cross-train to go plow the driveway.
Well, you know what? This is why this is why we love our employees so much, because I think they're eager to do this. This is a program that we started, I think, 3 years ago, where we may take folks from the Recreation and Parks Department that maybe are arborists or work in our parks, and they have trucks. We have trucks. We outfit them with plows and train them, and they go out and they can get and maneuver through the smaller streets. We still need our residents' help, though, because if you can move your car off of the actual street, it makes it easier for even the smaller trucks to get through and quicker. We also are asking folks, you know, we all have an elderly neighbor, someone that we might not be able to get out, to keep us all safe. If we can pitch in and help out and shovel a sidewalk, this is the day to do it.
Makes it a wonderful place to live.
Yes, I love Columbus.
Well, we are glad that you took your 45-minute commute and stopped here at Channel 10.
Thank you, Ms.
appreciate
Tracy.
it. Council President Shannon Hardin here with us this morning. All right, Colin.
All right, definitely great to get some updates on what's going on in and around the city because, of course, Franklin County, Columbus, under a snow emergency. This is a look at snow emergencies around the state, and take a look at that map. Those dark red counties, those are at a level 3. Almost all of the southern portion of our viewing area under some sort of a snow emergency. Those level 3 snow emergencies, those are the most severe. That's pretty much saying the only people that need to be out there, first responders, your fire, your medics, and your police officers. Those counties include Pickaway, Ross, and Pike County. And here's meteorologist Dylan Robichaud to explain what exactly each emergency level means.
Well, I'm glad that you just pointed that out, Colin, that right now Franklin County is in that level 1, or that level 2 rather. Level 1 is when the roads are hazardous, you have blowing, drifting snow. It's basically just a warning to drive careful. Level 2, this is what we have here in Franklin County, only travel if necessary. Level 3 is don't travel at all unless there's an urgent emergency. If you are caught out there traveling, you don't have a good reason to be out there traveling, there could be arrests that are made for violators. So very important to follow those rules. Back to you.
All right, one of the most hard-hit areas or counties in the region, Fairfield County. They've seen a lot of snow, and they are one of the counties that has been under a level 3 snow emergency. And that's where we're going to find meteorologist Meredith Garfalo. She's live for us in Lancaster with how conditions look out there. Meredith, you've been having some fun, but it's also a good reminder that it's time to be safe out there.
Exactly. I mean, when you're home, when you don't have to worry about being on the road, yes, of course, have some fun in the snow and enjoy it. I mean, this is the most snow we've seen so far this season. But the good thing is, I can tell you, we have not seen a lot of cars on 33 heading into Columbus, and typically this would be bumper to bumper and backed up. So good thing is people are heeding the advisories, the emergencies are staying off their own. But I can tell you one thing though, I'm still shoveling snow out here. The Pam, poor Tim, he's so mad at me because he's not going to be able to bake tonight. But again, a nice hack is what you can do is spray some Pam on here, the shovel before. Move that cord out of the way, shall we? And what's going to happen is that non-stick, just like your muffins are pretty much safe when you use non-stick, when you shovel the snow, which is getting heavier. We shoveled this area already and now there's snow again. You can see that you want it to still be a couple of inches. I'd say about 2 to 4 inches of snow. We have some fresh snow here. And then after that, this is the magic, right, on TV, just like the green screen. But because of the Pam non-stick, watch this. Look at that. It gets most of the snow off your shovel, so you're ready to go at it again. I don't know if you have to spray more Pam on. Let's try it real quick, let's see. Or if it still works. Hey, look, actually, we're still doing good with the Pam. So, Tim, you have a little bit left, my photographer, for some baking. But I'm going to send it back to you guys. Stay off the road, stay home, and, enjoy this safely from your own backyard.
All right, thank you. Pam worked wonders on the muffins I brought in today as well. All right, some reminders for you in case you have to go out today. AAA recommends that you dress as if you are going to be stranded. And again, we hope that does not happen to you. They also remind you to open your garage door before you start your car. Another thing to remember is to have your clearing tools, your shovel, and I guess, as we heard from Meredith, your Pam, have it accessible. And AAA says you should also back into parking spaces, which could make it easier for you to depart. Finally, you're going to see a lot of this today, people with their windshield wipers up. That can help so that they will work properly for you as you are getting out. Now, we have been monitoring the school closings that are coming in today, and these are happening at all levels, not just elementary schools, but also some of our college campuses. So go to 10tv.com for the latest on that. Many of the largest school districts in the area, Columbus City schools, for example, are closed. And you'll remember that the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce requires districts and schools to run on an hour-based, not a day-based schedule. And that means there are no longer those so-called calamity days in Ohio schools. Growing up here, Colin, we used to count those. How many have we used? We don't have to do that anymore. Instead, schools schedule excess hours above the minimum number of required hours to accommodate weather-related situations that delay or cancel school. I talked with the operations chief in the Olentangy local schools on Friday. They were already planning and looking at our forecast. And of course, Olentangy schools are closed today. Jeff Gordon told me that they really try to make the call by 5 or 5:15 in the morning.
Both our transportation director and our superintendent, while we're out on the roads, they're communicating with other districts and talking about, okay, what are you seeing? What's going on in your part of the county or your part of the city? So it's really a lot of factors go into making that decision.
And again, Olentangy, its administrators work with surrounding districts directly surrounding it. Worthington, Buckeye Valley, Big Walnut, Delaware City. There were all some conversations among those leadership people today before they decided to close. Now, Columbus City Schools decided to close earlier this morning. All classes, after-school activities canceled. In addition, we also can show you some other closures. Lancaster City Schools, Canal Winchester City Schools, all of those are closed. Coshocton, and again, Columbus State Community College, they are remote. Ohio State is remote today. Colin, you had an update on Capital University.
Right, Capital University, they have delayed, that is both the law school and Capital University, they've delayed everything until noon today.
It's interesting how they all work together, look at the conditions, and make it safe for not just the students, but for the staff.
Right, it's a team effort. I know a lot of people, say, why did the schools close? A lot of people look at that, but you got to think about those rural kids out there.
Listen, if you looked out your door today, you should have said, everybody's staying home.
Yeah, my mom's a rural school educator, and she talks about it. She's got kids driving these country back roads for miles. If they can't get out, they can't get to school.
And what if they're new drivers?
Yeah,
always the mother. Yeah. All right, 10TV.com is your resource now if you want to go and double check what's closed. There'll be some events that are happening this afternoon and this evening. There might be some changes there. We will keep you updated on all of that. OSU is encouraging its professors to hold virtual meetings. Instead, classes do resume tomorrow, friends. And the campus is going to remain open despite classes being on that remote status.
Right. And if you're taking online classes, those are still happening today. And this winter storm also, of course, affecting more than us just here in Central Ohio. That's video out of Lexington, Kentucky. The city just covered in snow this morning.
And along I-70, this is Kansas City, Missouri. Used to be my home there for a while. The city faced up to 15 inches of snow, closed down the Kansas City International Airport for a time.
I've been doing snow removal for 15 years, and this is the heaviest storm I've seen.
I've lived here pretty much all my life, off and on, but no, I don't remember anything like this in a minute.
And the wind chill there this morning is as low as -5 degrees. Sounds like it's time for some barbecue, Colin. And back here at home, Southern Ohio getting hit. This is video that we were able to get from Cincinnati. Overall, the winter storm affected over 60 million people, reaching all of the way from, as we showed you, Kansas City.
Vote can lower ability to fight infections. Before treatment, test for TB and do blood work. Serious infections, blood clots, some fatal. Cancers including lymphoma and skin. Serious allergic reactions, GI tears, death, heart attack, and stroke occurred. CV event risk increases in age 50 plus with a heart disease risk factor. Tell your doctor if you've had these events: infection, Hep B or C, smoked, are pregnant or planning. Don't take if allergic or have an infection.
Done settling?
Ask your rheumatologist for level 1.
And take back what's yours.
Heard from the Delaware County Sheriff this morning about how road conditions are changing
because it's
from the northern part of the county to the
We're
southern
building
part of the
them
county. Now,
to
a level 1
save
means
our
roadways
planet.
are hazardous. You could run into some ice along
To
with
save
blowing
it
and dry snow, so
from
make sure to drive carefully.
soulless,
TV's Kristen
self-driving
McFarland. She's been in Delaware
fleet
County for us all morning long. She's in Lewis Center. Kristen, have things improved at all?
Yeah, Colin,
That's why
Tracy, I was
we're
just
doing
about to say it's a bit more calm out here, and I'm not minding it. I can't tell if it's because I'm just getting used to it, but that snow is not coming consistently down like it was in the past few hours. There's some problematic areas I want to talk about, like apartment complexes,
high protein
back
nutrition
roads,
with real meat
neighborhoods
number
that
one,
don't necessarily
supporting your
get
healthy
plowed.
energy
It
and
might
strong
not be
muscles, and
difficult
the
as the
life
drivers
she was
get on
born
those
to
main
live.
roads,
Purina
but right
One
now
True
it's getting
Instinct,
out of that
a difference
neighborhood,
from
and you
day
can see
one.
intersections
Thanks
leading
for
up to
calling
main
Consumer
roads.
Cellular,
They're a little
ranked
bit
number
more
one in
crowded.
network
I also
coverage
want
and
to take a
customer
look at
satisfaction.
those flags
Hi,
up
my
there,
friend Linda
right
has
there.
you guys and gets way better coverage
Gusty
than I
wind
do.
going
Sounds
on,
like
and
Linda
that's
has
just
you
going to
beat.
add to it
Not
if you're
at bowling.
outside in
You're
the elements.
breaking up a
But again,
little.
just be
Are you
mindful when
really
you're on the
ranked
roads
number
as
one
it
in
is icy
coverage?
and it is
Yep.
slushy.
And
We
plans
just want
start
you to
at
be
just
careful
$20.
and get to
Oh,
your
we can
destination
afford lessons for
safely.
Linda.
Tracy,
You're
Colin.
embarrassing
The
yourself.
wind.
Yeah.
The flags, what's going on?
It's so cold.
Switch to the carrier ranked number one in network coverage satisfaction, and right now get your second month free. Call Consumer Cellular today.
So now we got 5 inches
Despite
of
being
fluff
on an
powdery
antidepressant,
snow.
Okay.
I was still masking my depression symptoms.
My doctor said it could be because my antidepressant alone wasn't enough.
So she
Recommended an add-on treatment. Low visibility.
She recommended adding Rexulti.
When taken with an antidepressant, Rexulti was proven to significantly reduce depression symptoms more than an antidepressant alone. So with my antidepressant, Rexulti could provide a boost. Elderly people with dementia-related psychosis have increased risk of death or stroke. Antidepressants may increase suicidal thoughts and actions and worsen depression in children and young adults. Call your healthcare provider
We're not
right
done with this quite yet. And also we have more snow up towards Bucyrus that's going to be moving on through. Now take a look at this, a strong upper level low. And as we look off to the west, we are still tracking quite a bit of heavy snowfall across parts of Indiana and Illinois. This stuff on the back side of the low, that is going to wrap around and move towards Ohio as well. So we're still looking at some snow as we head into the afternoon. Now, as we head towards 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock this morning, this is what we're talking about, that round 2. By 11 o'clock in the morning from Newark down to Lancaster, Circleville, Chillicothe, MacArthur, you guys in these dark blues, you guys are getting it. We head north of I-70, hardly anything, okay? I-70 is kind of the common denominator. South of I-70, you get hit pretty hard. North of I-70, not a whole lot. By 2:30, we are wrapping this up in Columbus, okay? So if you're trying to weigh out I have to go outside. What is the best time? Probably after 2 o'clock. That's when we take that line, we push it further down to the south. Caldwell, Athens, MacArthur, you guys are still getting snow at 2:30. By 5 o'clock, it's pushing on out. The rest of the night should be pretty dry. I think it's downright chilly as we head into tonight and into tomorrow. Additional snow on top of what we've already received based on the models that I looked at about 50 minutes ago. We're going 1 to 2 additional inches here for the metro, and then a little bit more as we head down towards Logan and down towards Waverly and places like that, and then lower amounts up towards Marion and Bucyrus, as they're not going to have as heavy of snow. Snow chances are going to be dropping off, though, as we get towards 4 o'clock. Notice that by 5 and 6 o'clock, we're looking at things improving. And then it's all about the chill. Look at that. By Thursday, 8 degrees in the morning. When you wake up on Thursday, wind chills will be below 0. Bundle on up. The snow that we get will be on the ground for a couple of weeks because we're not going to be able to melt it, as we're going to be staying below freezing. And in fact, we don't even climb above freezing at all for this week. Your time now is 7:51, and Amy has been super busy today looking at the roads. She has a look at your time saver traffic.
Things are getting a little bit better out there across the metro. 7:51 is your time. You can see we are still watching a lot of slowdowns out there. Normally this map, to give you an idea, completely green pretty much everywhere, but that's not the case here this morning. A couple slow spots we are continuing to watch closely. 33 southeast side, as slow as you can see 34 miles an hour in those westbound lanes this morning. Also north side of town drivers, 315 southbound just past 270, 45 miles an hour. So definitely a lot slower this morning, really all across the metro. A live look at your Big 4 major highway cameras. Bottom right shows you the southeast side, definitely one of the dicier spots we're watching. I'm going to send things back to you, Colin.
Yeah, still a lot of snow out on those roads. And right now, we've got crews live out on those roads all across central Ohio, keeping you updated with those current driving conditions up to the minute.
10 TV News reporter Tara Jabor is out covering what's happening. She's been south of the metro. Give us an idea of how things are going there. I hope it's improving a little bit.
Yeah, Tracy, absolutely. Things have improved a little bit, but still roads really aren't good. We're here on 23 North in Ross County, and as you can see in front of us, the roads are still completely covered in snow. They, of course, are in that level 3 snow emergency, and the sheriff's office had posted on Facebook that they want everyone to stay home who is a non-emergency personnel. So unless you have an emergency or you work in that type of job, you really should be staying home today. These roads are not good, so definitely stay home and stay inside. Now, we did see a few ODOT trucks that were out here. They, of course, are working to clear off these roads, and on certain parts of 23, one lane will be clear and then the other lane will still be snow covered. So we do know that some progress is being made. However, the roads are still snow covered. It seems like the snow has slowed down, though, so that's good news. We'll, of course, keep you updated as the storm continues. Back to you.
All right, you stay safe out there. We appreciate that update. Friends, we're going to do a quick break so we can go update our TV viewers.
Yeah, we'll see you back here on 10 TV Plus at 8.
The door right now, we do have a couple issues and some snowy road conditions we're watching. Bottom right-hand camera shows you 33 on the southeast side. We are watching a disabled vehicle in those westbound lanes, right as you're that entrance ramp over there at Hamilton Road. You can see some cars slightly just backed up, taking it very slow as that car is pushed off to the right. Other than that, things appear to be moving along okay across the metro, just definitely a lot slower than we typically see. Let's send things over to meteorologist Dylan Robichaud for your forecast.
And we're going to be looking at the snow for a few more hours. I'm thinking until about 1 to 3 o'clock this afternoon. A quick 1 to 2 inches here of additional snow in the metro, and then strong winds as we head into the afternoon as well. Let's get a look out there right now. We find ourselves in a bit of a lull in the activity, but as we head up towards Delaware County, we are tracking a band right there from Delaware off to Marysville. This is heading southeast, and that will be getting into Grove City at around 8:23, moving into Newark by around 8:30. And so plan on some more snowfall here between now and then. Also moving into Upper Arlington at 8:09, Columbus by about 8:15. Additional snowfall 1 to 2 inches here in the city, south of town. Could be looking at an additional 1 to 3. By the way, freezing rain, sleet, not happening. This is all a snow event. We've taken that risk out of the forecast. Next 12 hours, we're going to be looking at things drying up as we head into the afternoon. Cloudy and cold. We're going to be looking at temperatures very chilly late this week.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here on 10 TV News. This morning, I'm Tracy Townsend.
And I'm Colin Dorsey. Jay has the morning off. Well, if you've looked out the window or had to drive to work, you know it by now. That winter storm certainly hitting the area hard this morning. It's caused a lot of cancellations, delays, and closings. Columbus City Schools out. Whitehall closed city offices today. It's a lot. It's a big impact.
It's a lot going on. And if you did make it to work, we're glad you did, because the roads are a little treacherous out there with the snow.
Yeah, add a lot of extra time.
Yes.
And with that being said, we do have live team coverage for you to help keep you safe out there. Kiara Lake, Kristen McFarland, Meredith Garfalo, they're all out in different parts of the viewing area monitoring conditions. Tara Jabor has a live look at road conditions all for you this morning. And here with us now, Amy Steigerwald and Dylan Robichon bring you everything you need to know when it comes to the weather and what you need heading to the road. So we'll start with meteorologist Dylan Robichon on the latest.
Hey, good morning, Colin and Tracy. Well, this is what we're looking at right now. So the snow is going to be ending between 1 and 3 o'clock today. An additional inch or two is possible here in the metro area. The other thing I want to warn you, it's about to get very windy as we head into the afternoon. Blowing and drifting snow, you better believe it. It's going to get pretty gusty out there. Okay, here's a look right now at the Doppler radar. So we find ourselves in a bit of a lull right now where things have actually dried up quite a bit. This is what we call a dry slot. They're actually pretty common with these types of systems. Look here at this next system that we have coming in. We've got a line of snow moving into Columbus here, arriving in the next 15 minutes. Upper Arlington here at around 8:09, we're going to be looking at this moving in. Grove City at 8:23. So some heavy snowfall with that, along with reduced visibilities. I'm thinking an additional inch, maybe 2 inches in the metro. Down to the south, though, where they get snow quite a bit longer, they could be looking at quite a bit more snow down there. It turns cold and dry this afternoon, very blustery. And then our next big weather story is the frigid air late this week. We'll talk more about that, and I'll give you an updated look at some snow totals coming up in about 15 minutes. Amy has a look right now at the roads.
Time right now is 8:02. We've got a couple issues that have popped up just within the past few minutes. We've watched a couple of these get a little bit worse, unfortunately. Over here, 33 westbound, right at Hamilton Road, we've got that entrance ramp to those westbound lanes just slightly blocked off due to an issue. And then this one just popping up in the past 5 minutes, 670 eastbound, just past the 71-670 split. We've got the right lane blocked off. You can also see a lot of slowdowns, a lot of delays this morning. So if you're heading out the door, note that. You can see where those cars are pushed off over there to the right in that bottom left-hand camera. And then 33 also slow moving on the southeast side this morning as crews continue to work to clear out that snow. Things are definitely slow this morning, so if you're heading out, add a few extra minutes. I'm going to send things back to you, Tracy.
All right, thank you. We started talking about this snow and this whole weather impact day a couple of days ago, and our cameras were out in Circleville last night when that snow started to cover the city. Pickaway County is now under a level 3 snow emergency. We talked with some of the people who were out last night about that snowfall.
It's wonderful. I'm very happy it's finally snowing. We're going to get a good amount, hopefully, so I'm excited.
I hate the snow and it's really cold, but it's pretty, so.
No, we talked about it a bit ago. I like the snow. It's like my favorite time of year. But now here in Columbus, this is what you could see last night. There was a lot less snow on the ground. That video taken near the Grandview Heights city line. 10 TV Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz had checked just after midnight. When that video was taken, there'd only be about 2.5 inches of snow. Dylan saying 4.9, almost 5 inches in some places. So we've got a bit more than that, and it's still coming. So one of the more hard-hit regions, areas of the viewing area, that's going to be over in Fairfield County. That county under a level 3 snow emergency. That's the most severe, meaning the only folks that should be out there, those first responders, your police, fire, and EMS. So if you don't got to be out there, stay inside. Meteorologist Meredith Garfalo is live for us in Fairfield County right now.
I feel like I'm a statue. It's so cold out here, but I can tell you the weather has definitely not improved since this morning. The winds are still howling, and don't worry, being a meteorologist, I've got my fun weather tools, so we can give you a live report of what's happening here in Fairfield County and Lancaster. But one of the things we've noticed is people are staying off the roads. Normally, this road behind me, 33, would be backed up going into Columbus, but here comes a snowplow right now, and you can just see how lone it is out there, getting those roads clear for us. So a big thank you, by the way, to our snowplow drivers, to our first responders, to the people that have to be out here in this, because it's nasty, I'm not gonna lie. And I can tell you the snowflakes, with the change in temperature now that the sun is up, have gotten bigger. I've had like 2 snowflakes in my eye already. So, you know what, good day, just stay home. But let's get some weather reports. So I have an anemometer here, and this will tell us the speed of the wind. It measures that. We've been seeing winds sustained or held anywhere between 10 to 15. Some of the gusts have been getting upwards of 15 to 18 miles per hour. Right now we've got winds between 5 to 10. So we're keeping an eye on that. But it's been fun. Every hour since we've been out this morning, I've been measuring the snow. So I have my handy dandy ruler. Always when you're measuring snow, you want to walk away from the curb. So we're going to get out here kind of in that open area, the center here. And then you just stick it straight down like this. Looks like we got about 3 inches in this spot. There was one spot earlier where we had about 4. And then, of course, since this is metal, it's freezing on us. And then this one, it's almost up to 4 inches. And I would say for Lancaster, we're probably seeing anywhere between 3 to 4 inches. You know, our 10 Weather TV Impact Team forecast is right on track with what we've been seeing. And we are getting a little bit of a break, which is nice, but it's definitely cold out here. The other thing to keep in mind is the wind chill. I was just talking about getting some sustained winds between 10 to 15 miles an hour. The quicker the wind comes through, the faster the wind is, the faster your body loses heat, and that makes things like hypothermia and frostbite more and more likely. So it's a good day to just stay home, hot cocoa, layer. I mean, this is fun though. I was trying to make snowballs earlier, but this is no bueno for snowballs. I mean, it's just a big old mess of snow. So snow angels would be fun. I got a few more hits, but maybe at some point this morning, you'll find me playing in the snow, because if you are home, yes, it's very dangerous out there, but you got to make the most of a snow day, right? So reporting in Lancaster, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo for 10 TV.
All right, it's 8:07. Thank you, Meredith. We do want to take a look at the snow emergencies across the state. Almost all of them are in the southern part of our viewing area. You can see they're under some sort of snow emergency. You see yellow, orange, and red. That covers all 3 of the levels. Multiple counties, in fact, are under a level 3 snow emergency, including Fayette, Pickaway, Ross, Hocking, and Athens County. And those level 3 snow emergencies are very important. In fact, as Dylan is here to explain, you could get into trouble if you don't follow the rules.
Correct, Tracy. Level 1, not that big of a deal if you're out driving. It's basically officials saying heads up, roads are going to be slippery. You have an increased risk of sliding off the roads, so go extra cautious. Now, level 2, travel only if necessary. Right now, Franklin County actually has that level 2. So that's if there's an emergency, okay? That's the kind of situation where you would have to get out there and travel. Level 3, that means that if a level 3 is issued, you could actually be arrested in some circumstances if you're out there and you are violating that snow emergency. So very important stuff to follow. Back to you.
All right, thanks so much.
All right, and right now in Columbus, the city's snow warriors, as we call them, are out there doing their best to get those streets clean so you can get out there and go to work. But it could take you some time before your street actually gets on the list.
Well, they're warriors. They're going to fight through it. 10 TV's Kiara Lake is in Columbus this morning. They are, and they've called in some reinforcements, too. It's not just the regular plow drivers. It's everybody helping out in the city.
Yeah. Exactly right. Everyone's working together too, and it seems like a lot more people who are on the roads right now than should be. That Starbucks line has been busy all morning, so I guess that was a necessity for some people. But still, they're trying to get you on the roadways. This is High Street in Clintonville, and I have seen some snowplows go through here trying to make sure everything is clear. But the city of Columbus, they actually sent out alert just within the past 2 hours saying that these snowplows, they do have some vision issues sometimes, so you may see them but they may not see you. So that means give yourself some distance between you and a snowplow, and just know that you should watch out for turns and sudden stops when it comes out. And if you're wondering when your road will be clear, well, the city says they're working to plow 4,600 miles of roadway based on priority. So priority 1 areas includes those freeways and busy roads. Priority 2 are busy residential roadways, and priority 3 are the remaining local and residential roads that are not as busy. But still, like Tracy mentioned, employees from many other city departments have volunteered to be trained to use pickup trucks with plows to help clear these residential neighborhoods.
Historically, we would do all the priority 1s, clear them, go to the priority 2s, and then we would go to the priority 3s. So that's why everyone would be like, why is it taking so long to get to my neighborhood street? With the auxiliary staff, it's allowing us to get to those neighborhood streets so much faster.
Yeah, so it's an all hands on deck type of morning, and they said that they are fully staffed and they have plenty of salt to make sure that they can clear these roadways for you. And as you can see, all the city workers are really working hard. They're even picking up your trash for you this morning. We're reporting live from Clintonville, Kiara Lake, 10 TV News.
All right, thank you so much, Kiara. Here are some reminders in case you do have to head out today. AAA recommends that you dress as if something is going to happen if you get stranded, for example. They also remind you to open the garage door before you start your vehicle. And another thing to remember is to have your clearing tools accessible. AAA says you can back into parking spaces if you are able to get out and you have to go somewhere, if you just have to. And finally, you'll see a lot of this today. Windshield wipers up, otherwise they may not work when you need them.
Yeah, and if you're flying instead of driving, you need to check because maybe it's not taking off. That was really the case earlier this morning, but taking a look at the flight board here at John Glenn Columbus International Airport, it's gotten a lot better in the past couple hours. Right now, the next one canceled actually is in about 8 minutes. That's the flight out to Chicago on American. Flight to Chicago on Southwest also canceled. Bad news bears. But United can get you there at 9 a.m. We're going to see those start to clear up. You know, John Glenn, they'll plow the main runway so they can get those flights in and out and then start working on the other parts. And that's kind of what we're seeing at airports around the state as well. Cleveland, Dayton, both kind of seeing that as well. Dayton actually had more flights without delays and canceled earlier this morning. Cincinnati, not as good. They're seeing a lot there canceled as well. If you go over to the arrivals, those flights, for the most part, still arriving on time. They may be a few minutes delayed. However, we are still seeing some of those flights delayed and canceled headed out west. Remember, Kansas City, St. Louis dealing with a lot of snow right there. So just make sure you check with your airlines to see, are those flights coming in on time? Tracy?
All right, and of course, we've been keeping you updated on closures and cancellations. When we were on the air on the TV side, those are scrolling at the bottom of your screen. You can also get them at our website. Many of the largest school districts in the area, including Columbus City Schools, are closed right now. It's important to remember that the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce requires districts and schools to run on hour-based, not day-based schedules. And that really means that there are no longer so-called calamity days in Ohio schools. Instead, schools schedule excess hours above the minimum number of required hours to accommodate weather-related situations that either cause a delay or cancellation of school. The operations chief out in the Olentangy Local Schools District told me that they really try to make the call by 5 or 5:15 in the morning.
Both our transportation director and our superintendent, while we're out on the roads, they're communicating with other districts and talking about, okay, what are you seeing? What's going on in your part of the county or your part of the city? So it's really a lot of factors go into making that decision.
Olentangy Local Schools closed today. They connect with districts directly surrounding them: Worthington, Buckeye Valley, Big Walnut, Delaware City, for example. Now, this morning, Columbus City Schools has decided to close, and all of their classes and after-school activities are canceled. Here are some other closures we can tell you about. Lancaster City Schools, Canal Winchester City Schools, those are closed this morning. You can see that Coshocton City Schools were on a 2-hour delay, and Columbus State Community College is having remote learning today. And of course, this list does go on. You will find the complete list at our website, 10tv.com. Colin?
Yeah, Tracy, and we're also getting those reports of icy roads out of Delaware County. Delaware County currently listed as a level 1 snow emergency. That's the least severe of the 3. And that means roadways are hazardous. You could run into areas covered in ice. You could also see that blowing and drifting snow. As Meredith demonstrated, it's that real powdery, light snow that just moves around really easily. So if you're headed out the door, drive carefully. 10 TV's Kristen McFarland is in Delaware County for us right now. Kristen, how's it looking?
Tracy, Colin, good morning. It's looking a lot better, let me tell you, than it did at 4 a.m. this morning. It's a lot more calm here, but a lot of ice that's built up. And just you can see here, this mound of snow that was plowed, big ice chunks here. Don't eat the snow, there's salt in it. But we just talked to a group of guys who work on plowing different parking lots, and they've been out since 10 p.m. last night here at this parking lot. They just finished up about 5 minutes ago, and they said the big challenge for them is that light, fluffy snow that you plow it, you scoop scoop it, you shovel it, and then it blows back over. So it's making it a little difficult to clear those roads more efficiently. But again, those main roads, we want you to be careful because there is a lot of ice. It can be slick and it can be slippery. So if you don't need to leave your house, just be careful and be mindful. Colin, Tracy.
All right, Kristen, thanks. It's definitely a messy one.
Sage advice. Don't eat the snow.
Don't eat the snow.
Don't eat the snow.
No. And also, you got to shovel it. It's that it is kind of the bad part about the snow. It's pretty, but you got to get it off the sidewalks. And if you plan to do it, we know it's a workout. You can skip the exercise today, but it also is pretty taxing, and you need to prioritize your health.
In fact, medical experts say shoveling snow can increase your risk for heart attack.
When we get heavy snow, that can be a lot of stress on the body. Walking outside in the cold weather puts stress on the body, it raises the blood pressure, and then lifting the heavy snow and moving the heavy snow is a very vigorous activity, akin to running or doing high intensity interval training.
Doctors say those most at risk are people with a prior history of coronary disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, adults who are over the age of 65, and those who have a sedentary lifestyle. We did ask about some of the things you can do to lower the risk for a heart attack while you're shoveling the snow.
Taking precautions in the cold weather, making sure that you have your face covered, making sure that you're taking frequent breaks, trying to watch, your true level of perceived exertion and not go past what you yourself are comfortable with.
Now, some of the most common signs of a heart attack include chest pain or discomfort, pain that spreads to other body parts, including the neck, jaw, and back, lightheadedness, nausea, and shortness of breath. Remember, some of the symptoms do vary between men and women, and doctors say if you experience any of them, you should call 911.
That's something that I think you might be like, oh, that can't happen, but it certainly does.
You know what we call heavy wet snow?
Outside on my driveway, just let it stay there.
No, we call it heart attack snow.
Oh.
Luckily, the snow that we have today is not heart attack snow because it's fluffy. There's not a whole lot of water content in it. And that's why you could see Meredith. She couldn't even make a snowball because it's just so powdery. But sometimes we can get that heavy, pasty snow here. It's not good, ugly stuff.
Be careful.
We got some snow totals for you, though, out towards Hilliard. Look at that, coming in at 5.1 inches. Still waiting on an update right now from Columbus. Right now, we currently stand at about 4.9 inches. And then Hebron and then Delaware, Wilmington, between 3-4 inches. I mean, for the most part, in the metro area, we were saying 3 to 6 inches since like last Wednesday, so that verified, so that makes me a happy camper. Right now, down to the south, we're looking at dry conditions, but look at this right here. So let's go ahead and zoom in. You can see right here from Delaware down to Unionville Center, we are tracking this band of snow that's moving off to the southeast. That's moving into Columbus. It's 8:18 right now. That'll be here probably within the next 20 minutes. Moving into Groveport shortly after that by around 8:58, and then moving off towards Pickerington. So a quick burst of snow likely here within the next 20 to 30 minutes or so. Roadway temperatures right now, not bad. We're in the upper 20s, so good and bad. It's bad because we're not going to be looking at the snow melting when it hits the roads. That means snow-covered roads are likely. This is good, though, because the roads are warm enough so that the rock salt is actually working, okay? As it gets too cold out there, rock salt becomes less effective. Today, we're about 20 degrees, so rock salt is very effective, but when it's only 10 degrees, it's not very effective, all right? So when ODOT does get out there and they treat the roads, it's gonna be melting and things will be improving. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock today, again, we're still tracking some good snow down south of I-70, but as we head past lunchtime, we are cutting off this snow machine. By 3 o'clock, it's done in Columbus, Lancaster, Circleville, looking at some snow, and then that eventually will push off down to the southeast, and then things are going to be cloudy and just downright cold as we head into the afternoon. Dusting to an inch up to the north, an additional 1 to 2 inches possible for the metro. Still thinking that we could get 1 or 2, maybe an isolated pocket of 3 inches down to the south where we are going to be looking at some heavier snow bands. It dries up, though, as we head into the afternoon. Take a look at this. Later on today, cold, cold, cold. Only getting colder by the weekend. Look at that. Thursday, you're waking up. Thursday morning, 8 degrees. The wind chill will be below 0. Bundle up for that, and then mid-20s heading into Friday, Saturday. A weak system will bring in some snow showers as we head into the start of the weekend and by the end of this week. Amy Steigerwald has a quick update on your roads.
We are still watching one issue here in the downtown area on 670. We've been watching this issue kind of reappear and disappear throughout the morning. Those eastbound lanes just past that 71-670 split. Still watching a disabled vehicle as crews work to clear that up. We've got the right lane blocked off. If you take a look in this lower left-hand camera, can't quite see it, but what you can see is conditions are improving. So as more people hit the road, plows are able to kind of clear things out a little bit better. And you can see we've got traffic flowing in those east and westbound lanes. Not too bad. Over up in Dublin, I-270 right at Tuttle Crossing, seeing some snowy conditions, and the southeast side still looking a little dicey on 33. I'm going to send things to you, Colin.
Yeah, Amy, 33 has just kind of been a mess all morning.
Right.
Yeah.
A little bit more than usual, but snow
Yeah.
doesn't help it.
Yeah,
Wow.
not a great one this morning. So right now, we've got crews out on the roads across central Ohio to keep you updated on how those driving conditions are up to the minute. Now, 10 TV News reporter Tara Jabor, she's been out covering what's happening on those roads, especially down around Ross County, around Chillicothe. She's live for us now. Tara, where exactly are you and how are the roads?
Well, Colin, Tracy, right now we are here on 23 going south. We're in Pickaway County. The roads have honestly improved a lot here in Pickaway County. If you look at the roads from 5 a.m. to now, there is a huge difference. So as you can see, the left lane is still mostly snow covered, but again, that right lane is looking clear here in Pickaway County. Pickaway County is, though, still under that level 3 snow emergency. So we have started to see a lot more cars out, but the sheriff's office put out a message very early this morning telling people to stay off the roads. The sheriff says that if you are a non-emergency personnel, then you should be staying home unless you have an emergency. So if you can, definitely stay home today. That is what that level 3 means here. Now, if you look at as we come up a little bit farther here in Pickaway County, it basically looks like this all the way through. But when we get to Ross County, that's when things start to look a little different, and both of the lanes are more snow covered in Ross County. A lot of the ramps getting onto the highway, of course, are still snow covered, so there are some slick spots there, and it can be a challenge to really get your car onto the highway from there. But other than that, things are definitely looking up here. We'll, of course, have another update for you with these road conditions within the next half hour. Guys, I'll send it back to you.
All right, Tara, thanks. Over to Dylan now.
Well, the roads out there are not great, and we're going to have trouble melting any of this black ice because late week it's going to get a lot colder. We'll tell you when or if things could thaw out anytime soon.
And we've been talking about 33 on the southeast side, just being a little bit dicey. Those drive times over there still looking really slow as you head out the door from Gender Road over to the 270 Outer Belt. Again, that's on the southeast side. You can see we've only got you going about 30 miles an hour. I'm going to send things back to you.
All right, we're going to take a quick break to update our 10 TV viewers.
Yeah, we're back on the streaming at 8:30.
It is 8:25 on your Monday. Thanks so much for staying with us here on 10 TV. I'm Amy Steigerwald. Heading out the door right now, definitely looking a little bit snowy on our roads across the metro. You can see everything moving along a little slower than it normally does this time of the morning. Upper right-hand camera, I-270, a little bit south of Easton. You can see we've got a plow working there right now, and that north and southbound traffic moving just a little bit slower, like I mentioned. 670 right at 4th Street's been a problem spot all morning. We've seen a couple vehicles stall or slide out over there, so take it slow as you're heading on 670 near that 71 split. And then 315 also a little bit slower than normal. You can see in that upper left that plow working to clear out those roadways here this morning. Let's check in with meteorologist Dylan Robichaud to see what our forecast is looking like.
And we're looking at some pretty good totals so far, especially as you head out west towards Dayton, Centerville, coming in at 8.5 inches. Hilliard about 5.1. Columbus still 4.9. Then as we head off towards Delaware, up to Delaware, not quite as much up there for you. We are tracking one snow band right now just north of the city of Columbus from Delaware, just south of Unionville Center. That's moving into Dublin right now. That's going to be bringing in snow to the metro area any minute now. So get ready for some a quick bursts of snow, then that will move off towards Pickerington within the next half hour or so. Today, we're going to be looking at snow till about 12, 1, 2 o'clock. By 2 o'clock, we shut it down in the city. By 4 o'clock, it ends in New Lexington. Then by 5 o'clock, everybody's going to be looking at improvements. Get ready for the chill. Wow, look at that. 8 degrees here on Thursday morning, teens on Thursday, and finally warming up a bit towards Sunday. We'll be back to update you in a half hour.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here on 10 TV News this morning. I'm Tracy Townsend.
And I'm Colin Dorsey. That winter storm, it hit hard in central Ohio. Doesn't matter where you are, you've seen at least some of it. It's caused a lot of cancellations and closings. Columbus City Schools is out, along with Hilliard, Lancaster, New Albany, you name it, they're out. We've got a full list at 10tv.com. Even some colleges have delayed or canceled. Now, we have live team coverage for you all morning to help keep you safe. Kiera Lake, Kristen McFarland, Meredith Garfalo are out in different parts of the viewing area, taking a look at conditions. Then Tara Jabor is out on the roads, giving you updates from there. Then, here with us in studio, Amy Steigerwald and Dylan Robichon have everything you need to know when it comes to weather and traffic. So, we want to start off with Dylan Robichon on the latest on what those weather models show.
So, a lot of the focus has been on the snow, and rightfully so, but something else to focus on, the wind chill. Right now, it feels like only 7 degrees out there. And look elsewhere across the area. In London, it feels like only 3 degrees. And this is going to get worse throughout the day because the winds are just going to get even stronger as we head into 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock this afternoon. Look at that, gusting up to about 30 miles per hour by 1 o'clock, 25 miles per hour here at 2 and 3 o'clock here into the afternoon. So what does that mean? Blowing snow. We're going to have drifting snow. So if you're driving out there on the roadways, we're going to be looking at that kind of blowing in your face, blowing into your windshield. Not great. Also, driving on the interstate, make sure to clear off the top of your car because you get on the interstate and you're driving at 45, 50 miles per hour. That snow is going to blow off and reduce visibility for the car behind you. So just kind of be a good neighbor out there and think about all these different things. Today, though, starting you off here, these reds on the map, man, we're looking at winds gusting up to about 30 later on today. Generally speaking, the common denominator is that northwest of I-71, we look at the worst winds, and then as we head southeast of I-71, they won't be quite as bad as we head through today. Now, as we look at the next 12 hours, we're going to cut off that snow machine. By 11 o'clock, it's still snowing, but by 2, 3 o'clock, we're going to say goodbye to the snow, hello to the cold. We'll talk more about that cold snap coming up in just a bit. Amy has a quick update on the roads.
8:32 is your time. As you're heading out this morning, we are watching snowy conditions all across the metro. Thankfully, no major crashes, so that is great news. As a lot of you waited a little later in the morning to head out, that worked in your favor. 670, one of the dicey spots that we have been seeing, so be careful right as you're coming near that 71-670 split. Also, 33 on the southeast side, still very slow moving for the cars that are out there. 270 near Easton and 315 right at Bethel have traffic in those north and southbound lanes moving with no major issues, but those drive times heading northbound still, you can see on 71, 46 miles an hour. So you're definitely moving a little slower this morning. 315, 50 miles an hour, same situation. Add a couple extra minutes if you are out commuting this morning. We'll keep an eye on things, and if an issue pops up, we'll let you know. Tracy.
All right, Pickaway County is under a level 3 snow emergency. 10 TV cameras were out last night when the snow moved in Circleville, and we had an opportunity to talk with some folks who were out in the conditions.
It's wonderful. I'm very happy it's finally snowing. We're going to get a good amount, hopefully, so I'm excited.
I hate the snow, and it's really cold, but it's pretty, so.
Well, I think that first gal got her wish. Circleville definitely getting some snow. And now back here in Columbus, well, we got it too. This is what it looked like last night. That was taken near the Grandview Heights city line. Now, at that point, just after midnight, Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz said it was about 2.5 inches of snow. We have gone well past that. We are above 4 inches in some places. Dylan said 4.9 a little bit ago. But a little farther south, one of the more hard-hit regions was Fairfield County. That has been under a level 3 snow emergency all morning long. Meredith Garfalo's out there for us. She's live for us in Fairfield County, showing us some tips and tricks out there and also how conditions have changed. Meredith.
You know, the one thing is we don't have the snow coming down anymore. Earlier it was blowing and you had the snow mixed in, but right now I'm really not seeing any of those big, fat, fluffy snowflakes. So we're keeping an eye on things. The winds are still blowing though, so we're still going to have that wind chill factor in place. We talked about that earlier. Yes, the temperature could be in the 20s. However, the feels like in the single digits, and the stronger the winds blow, the faster our bodies lose heat, and unexposed skin can get frostbite, or even hypothermia can kick in within a very short period of time. But I thought because so many people are home, I mean, I normally don't shovel, but I was like, it's time for some tricks and tips from the Garofalo meteorology school, I guess you could say. So if you have a shovel out there, there's some tips on when you're shoveling. Now, first thing, I'm not going to use the Pam again, but we used this earlier, and I can say it works. Oh, the cap just came off. Hold on one second. It's stuck in my pot. It must be the freezing weather, but so if you have something like Pam or anything that's a non-stick lubricant, all you have to do is spray it before you start shoveling on the inside of your shovel. And what it's going to do is, just like when you're baking, it's going to prevent the snow from sticking on there. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do just a little bit of shoveling. Now, one thing that when you're shoveling you want to remember is, if you're lifting, you want to lift from your legs and not your back. But also when you're shoveling, you want to push it, use your arms to push it forward when you're getting that. And you want about 2 to 4 inches of fresh snow. So I would say every couple inches, maybe get out there and do the shoveling. And then what will happen is, with the non-stick, let's see if there's still some left on from earlier. That's not bad, actually. You can still see the, that is yellow from the Pam spray, by the way. That's gonna kick that snow off pretty quickly. So there's a tip for you. And again, when you're shoveling, you wanna get down and use your legs, just like when you're weightlifting, to lift and to throw off the snow. So a little bit of tips out there for you if you have to go out and shovel. You know, good thing is things are wrapping up, but we're gonna be keeping an eye on things for you here.
All right, thank you to Meredith for that. Here's a look at the snow emergencies across our state. Almost all of the southern part of our viewing area is under some sort of snow emergency, as you see here. Multiple counties under level 3 snow emergency: Fayette, Pickaway, Ross, Hocking, and Athens counties. Here's a reminder about level 3 snow emergency and what that means. Dylan Robichaud is joining us to walk through each of those.
Well, level 1 is just a heads up. Hey, we're going to be looking at inclement weather. It's going to be blowing and drifting. You don't want to slide into a ditch. Don't go out there driving unless it's necessary. Now, level 2 is only travel if you have an emergency. So basically, contact your employer, see if you can stay home or not. Franklin County right now is in a level 2. Level 3 is, if you're out there traveling, you could actually be arrested here depending on the circumstance here. That is, your wife is pregnant, you got to get out there on the roadways. That's that kind of situation. So don't be traveling in a level 3 unless you need to. Back to you.
All right, Dylan, thanks. Now, right now in Columbus, the city's snow warriors, as they call them, they're out working hard to get those streets cleared. They have been out when I left at 2 this morning. I saw a couple plows out there already hard at work, and you know, with that blowing snow, they just got to keep going.
They had their work cut out for them early this morning because it was coming down. It was interesting. That's my word for now. 10 TV's Kiara Lake is in Columbus this morning with more on the work of the Warriors and the auxiliary Warriors.
Yeah, those snow warriors have been hard at work out here. I've been on High Street and I've actually lost count of the amount of snowplows that I've seen working hard to clear these roadways. And I want to give you a look at what we're seeing right now. Things are slushy, but the good news, when it started at 4, you could barely see the lines on the road, but now they're starting to appear finally. So you can just see how hard the city has been working to clear these roads. And we learned from the city that they are fully staffed when it comes to their snow warriors, and we're told they have plenty of salt and other supplies to treat the roads. So the city says their top priority to clear the roads, they have a lot of them, and those are high traffic areas like freeways and roadways like High Street here. And on top of that, the city also has a new auxiliary program to help out today. So employees with many city departments, they volunteered to be trained to use pickup trucks with plows to do roads like this here. These are the more residential side areas that aren't necessarily a top priority when it comes to those bigger snow plows. So hopefully, if you're wondering when my road will be clear, hopefully that's soon for you. But just a reminder, the city has 4,600 miles of roadway to clear, so be patient.
The other big change we made since last year is nearly tripled the number of contractors that are working with us so that we can get from, some of the main streets around town, those major thoroughfares, into residential areas, because that is so much of our goal to do this, is to get into neighborhoods faster.
And the city says what would help them as well is to make sure that you clear your sidewalks. I want to show you right now, when I take my ruler here, you're looking about 4 inches of snow that you'll be dealing with. And also, if you can park off the street so the snow plows can get through, the city says that will also help a lot. So be safe out there. If you don't have to be on the roads, it's still a little slick, so I would stay warm at home. Reporting live from Clintonville, Kiera Lake, 10 TV News.
All right, Kiera, thank you. Here are some other things to remember. Just in case you do have to go out today, you want to dress as if you were going to be stranded. That advice coming to you from AAA. They're also reminding you to open your garage door before you start your car. Be sure your clearing tools are accessible. And AAA is advising you to back into parking spaces, which they say could make it easier for you when you're departing. And if you see a lot of this today, windshield wipers standing up, know that that's what you should do so that yours may work properly. Colin?
Yeah, no one likes stuck windshield wipers. Well, if you're catching a midday flight out of John Glenn Columbus, things are looking pretty good for you. Here's a look at the delay or the flight board out of the airport. We're seeing a lot fewer delayed and canceled flights right now. 9:45 into St. Louis. That one's canceled, but really there's only a handful now through the lunch hour and later on in the day, getting those runways plowed so they can get planes in and out. A few arriving planes still delayed by a few minutes, so if you're picking up family or friends, make sure to check with the airlines. Tracy?
All right, Colin, thank you so much for that. Now, we have been covering school closings and cancellations. There have been some delays this morning. Many of the larger school districts in our area, Columbus City Schools, Olentangy, New Albany, Hilliard, those are closed today. It's also important to remind you that the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce requires districts and schools to run on an hour-based schedule as opposed to a day-based schedule. So there are no more of those calamity days in Ohio schools. Instead, schools schedule excess hours above the minimum number that are required to accommodate these weather-related days. So if they need to delay or cancel, they have some wiggle room, so to speak. I talked with the operations chief in the Olentangy Local Schools District. They are closed today, and he says they try to make the call by 5 or 5:15 in the morning.
Both our transportation director and our superintendent, while we're out on the roads, they're communicating with other districts and talking about, okay, what are you seeing? What's going on in your part of the county or your part of the city? So it's really a lot of factors go into making that decision.
And they're talking with the districts that are surrounding them directly: Worthington, Buckeye Valley, Big Walnut, and Delaware City.
And as the Buckeye State continues to dig out, I guess, of this winter storm, it makes travel for some here in Central Ohio pretty difficult, maybe even a nightmare for some.
Absolutely. Many of the counties, as we've been showing you, are under a level 2 or 3 snow emergency. If it's level 3, that means non-essential travel is banned. And this morning we have with us from the Ohio Department of Transportation, Morgan Eibel. We know you've been busy. We appreciate you joining us this morning.
Yeah, we have definitely been busy since yesterday. Well, actually starting Thursday into Friday. Who knew we had that storm, and now the storm Sunday into today. 200 crews, more than 200 crews out in Central Ohio, surrounding 15 counties. So yeah, they're working around the clock to keep the roads clear and free of snow. But we're seeing a lot of blowing and drifting snow, even though a lot of the snow has started to taper off. So I would expect for motorists to see snow on the roadways for the extended future.
Yeah, and Morgan, of course, this isn't just an event that you guys just do day of. There's a lot of pre-planning that goes into it. I see the mountain of salt behind you there. Tell me a little about what ODOT does to make sure things are ready for when this happens.
Yeah, so actually on Thursday, we knew that the storm was going to take place Thursday into Friday. Did a little bit of pre-treating across Central Ohio. Obviously, we did get some accumulation, and they were putting salt out. So not much pre-treating was done the rest of the weekend leading up to yesterday's storm, but you still had that salt on the ground, so it was able to basically start working as soon as that snow hit the ground. But unfortunately, these temperatures are very cold. I actually moved inside of the salt dome because of the wind. So like I said, I think we're going to continue to see this blowing and drifting snow, and it's going to present some issues for the rest of the day.
Can you give our viewers just an idea of the numbers? How many drivers you have out? Do you need more help? And kind of what they're seeing in their respective regions?
Yeah, so in Central Ohio alone, like I said, representing around 15 counties, we have more than 200 crews out, and they've been on 12-hour shifts since yesterday at noon, and they will continue on those shifts for the extended future. Like I said, it seems like the snow has tapered off at this point, but we could see additional snow throughout the day. But the biggest issue is going to be these cold temperatures and the blowing and drifting snow moving forward.
So truly, don't crowd the plow, Morgan. That's what you want to say?
Of course. We have already had 8 as of yesterday or the day before. Now it is 12 because we had 3 additional plows struck yesterday in District 9, so the southern district below Central Ohio. So we're up to 12 plow strikes so far this winter. We had 22 last winter.
People need to be careful and let the plow drivers do that work. It's so critical. Morgan Eibel, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Morgan is from the Ohio Department of Transportation.
Yeah, it's definitely some great advice.
Yeah.
Give them some space to work.
I say, come on through.
Yeah, make it better for me.
Yes, yes.
All right, now we want to head over to Delaware County right now. That county been in a level 1 snow emergency all morning long. And that's where we're going to find Kristen McFarland as she's been keeping an eye on things there. Kristen?
Tracy, Colin, Dylan, Amy, good morning. Dylan, you said it feels like 7 degrees out here, and I can confirm that. And that gusty wind you talked about, just take a look at this towel. It's been a consistent blowing of wind here, and it's not showing it too much right now. It was just a little bit ago. But again, those winds, they come and they go, and that's blowing that snow across the roads. And here you can just see that this area, this residential area, has been cleared out a little bit, but still it's pretty slick and icy. And then some spots in the same neighborhood, not so much. You can see here, lots of snow still there, making it difficult for people to get out. But I want to say I have seen a lot more cars, a lot more people staying home, it seems like, and trying to, follow the rules and just be smart and just be safe. But again, that wind is pretty consistent, pretty strong out here, and those icy roads are making it difficult for people. So we want you to be safe. Colin, Tracy.
I'd take a snow day.
Yeah.
I would stay home. I'd follow Dylan's advice.
See, when I was a kid, I got a snow day, and then I decided to become a meteorologist. Now, instead of a snow day, I work extra.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think we get to text. I don't think our boss is going to be like, nope, stay home.
That decision didn't age too well for me, but...
We're glad you're here because you called it. We heard from the sheriff in Delaware County.
Yeah, hey, you know what? These storms are pretty tricky. Jerry, Michael, and myself, we said 3 to 6 in the metro. We got about 4.9, so we're right in that.
Yeah.
And this was a pain to actually forecast because there was such a tight gradient between who was going to get a lot and who was going to get nothing. So as we look outside right now, we're still tracking one band. I want to zoom in here on the radar because this band right here is going to have some very heavy snow with it. As we go ahead and zoom in. So this is moving in from Delaware County into Franklin County. So South Vienna, Hilliard, Dublin, Powell, all these areas right now getting in on some heavy snowfall, Westerville, New Albany. And as we go off to the east here, this is going to be moving off towards Pataskala within the next 15 minutes or so, moving off towards Zanesville by 9:27, Pickerington 9:07, and then eventually it moves off to the east if it does survive the trip. But I just want you to be aware of that. Snow is going to be ending by about 2 to 3 o'clock this afternoon. An additional quick 1 to 2 inches in the metro. Then we have the wind. Blowing and drifting snow is going to be a major issue heading through today. Let's go ahead right now and move on and talk about the hour by hour. Starting you off here around 9 o'clock from Lancaster, Circleville, Washington Courthouse. South of I-70 really gets hit pretty hard late this morning. By lunchtime, still getting in on some steady snowfall here. By 3:30, we're going to be seeing the back edge moving through Columbus. 3 o'clock, it's going to be done snowing in Columbus. However, if you think that you want to be traveling south of I-70, I would advise against it because at 3:30, they're going to get some very heavy snowfall in Logan and MacArthur. Then eventually by about 4 o'clock, it wraps up for all of us. The chill. Look at this right now. Wind chills in Circleville, Lancaster, Columbus, London. London right now, 3 degrees. That's what it feels like out there. Why? Because of the wind out there. The warmest that it will feel like is 16 degrees as we head into the afternoon. By 10 o'clock and beyond, it's going to feel like the lower teens out there. We're going to be looking at winds up to around 30 miles per hour. So we're talking scarves, hats, mittens, that heavy winter jacket today because it's going to be downright blustery as we head throughout the day. Now, the wind chill is going to be a big issue today. And the reason why is because what happens is that your body tries to maintain a temperature of 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Your body is always trying to maintain what we call homeostasis. What happens is that your body does that by producing heat along the outer layer of the skin. So you have this warm layer around your body. What happens when the wind starts blowing? It literally pushes that heat away from your body, leading to excessive amounts of heat loss. So your body works harder by shivering to warm itself up. That can lead to hyperthermia, so you got to be careful with days like this, with how cold it's going to be. And if you think today is cold, look at that right there, 8 degrees here on Thursday morning. Not looking forward to that. Then tracking the possibility of a few snow showers Friday going into Saturday. The jury is still out on whether or not we'll get any accumulation, but that does not look like a major storm. Time right now is 8:50. We are checking in with Amy. She's going to look at your time saver traffic.
Good morning. As you head out the door right now, things moving along generally okay, just a little bit slower. If you waited to head out, it's working in your favor. Gahanna drivers looking clear, 670, 40 miles an hour, so definitely slower. 270 northbound right at 42. So again, things just moving a little bit slower than normal. Clearing out up in the Plain City, Dublin area. You can see we're starting to see some green on our map. Yay, that means things are improving out there for drivers over there on the northwest side. Live looks across the metro, 315 at Ackerman. More lanes we're also starting to see clear out. We just saw a plow go through here. And I-70 on the west side, you can see we do have a little bit of a disabled vehicle pushed off over there. That's what we're seeing pretty much all across the metro, but no major crashes stopping any traffic right now. I'm going to send things back to you.
All right, Amy, thanks. And we've been looking at the roads all morning long. We've had team coverage out there, including Tara Jabbour, who's been keeping an eye on what's going on out there.
She really has, and she's been giving us a really good view from the passenger seat. So as we wrap things up, Tara, tell us how things are looking since you've been out there this morning.
Well, Tracy and Colin, things are looking a lot better. I've spent the last basically 4 hours, 5 hours actually, here in Pickaway and Ross County. And take a look at the roads right now. They look a lot better than what they did and what you all saw at about 5 this morning. The right lane is basically clear now. That left lane is still snow covered. Now, we did see a couple of cars in ditches, 2 of them actually within the last 5 minutes or so. So there are still some people out on the roads, and these roads still must be slick if people are in a ditch. So of course, Ross and Pickaway are still under that level 3 snow emergency. That means that people who are non-emergency personnel should be staying home today, should be staying inside unless you have some sort of emergency. So we're keeping an eye on these roads. They are getting better. That's of course good news. We'll of course continue to keep you updated throughout the day. But for now, reporting live in Ross County, Tara Jabbour, 10 TV News.
All right, we want Tara and her photographer, Tyler Hoffman, to stay safe as they are out there.
Absolutely.
Well, we do want to thank you for joining us this morning on this special edition of 10 TV News This Morning.
Yeah, we'll see you back here at noon.